I kind of feel comfortable in my own skin for once.
Yeah, it's good.
Which I think it means 2019 is going to be a good year.
It's going to be a good year. Well done.
Put it there, partner.
Good year.
Good year. 2019 is going to be great.
I spent a day last week going through all of our 2019 content.
I think we can go deep on this because so much happened, and I think it's important to reflect every now and then because you just get caught up in the whirlwind of it.
Yes.
Don't know how everyone else felt, but this is a bit of a whirlwind year.
The main point that we want to get to is, was 2019 a success?
I've never smiled so much in my life.
This is the coolest game ever.
So, like, if we were going back looking at the creation of the sales game, Dust, like, now is something that it's probably going to be a massive focus of ours 2020. And it's probably really gaining traction in the last 3 months, probably, like, globally.
Proper traction.
Globally, anyway.
6 months.
Yeah.
5 to 6 months, I would say.
But if you look back on, like, what it took for us to get to that point, we've been in business together for 12 months, but you look back at the last 3 or 4 years, you could argue that they were all building blocks
Totally.
into this creation of the game. I think arguably all the psychology work you've ever done in your life has been a building block to this.
100%.
Probably me, all of the strategic element of it, the warfare type part of it has always been a building block of it.
In speaking about these building blocks, was noting how many times Bravo was reshaped to get to the point of
Is that
the
another
sales
theme?
game.
Because that is a belter.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started off just basically like I think you've described it as a weird, shoddy equip.
Yeah.
Like equip consulting plus Darcy.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work, just didn't take off. Why would it? Because it was that was never going to take off, but we needed to start there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you needed to just get some sort of injection, some sort of jolt to get things moving.
Yeah.
And then it went from there to the consulting model of the no-win, no-fee consulting model.
We believe every consultative salesperson should be 100%. Because that's business. A business owner is 100%.
Yes. Also separates the coaches, consultants, trainers out there that are like, are you in the trenches doing the real thing? Like, anyone can create content, but they might not. Their business might not be making any money. You know, it just separates that. It's like get in the game, show that you're in the game. Because if your business isn't making money, you probably should still be back in the sales.
Which we've had some bites around, but it's by no means ultimately where we're headed in the future. Let's just state it right here, right now.
That was a building block moment of like, oh, we found the tower, you know?
Yep,
Which is interesting.
And then, but it only took that not taking off. And I'm glad it didn't, because if it did, we would never have had any need to discuss and discover the sales game.
Yeah.
Which has ultimately turned out to be the gold, you know?
And even the sales game was a weird journey to get there as well.
Yeah.
I remember when we booked it, we booked the date, the venue and everything, and it was leading up to a few weeks before, and we were still kind of talking about what even is it?
Yeah.
It forced us to come up with it.
Yeah. And even then, the chips game that's now
the game. It is the sales game.
The sales game was just an offhand kind of oh yeah, this sounds interesting, we'll throw that in.
Yeah.
And arguably the one that we thought had the most risk of going wrong. Here's the thing that people don't realize, the first 2-day event that we played, Matt, we designed and created, you 3D printed board game characters. We made a full-on board game.
Snakes and corporate ladders.
Yeah. You know, you have to go through those iterations of it completely changing what it is and being okay with that change.
You can say, I'm going to do this for you and then give you your chips. But that's not necessarily losing chips, because you're learning something from that person. But then it's what's the end of the game? Because if the end of the game is who's got the most chips is the winner, these chips mean, when the learning is more than the chips. If you come out with no chips but you've just gained a wealth of knowledge from 6 different people, surely you're the winner. You know what I mean?
Some of the chips on the table in there, so just to give you an idea of how many I've got at the moment, which is kind of cool. nothing a little while ago.
I'm really curious to know how you've done this.
You've played the game brilliantly, man. You really have. Yeah. Everything's fine. But anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, recovery. I have one word and one word only. Golf. That has been, I'd say that jokingly, but I also say it quite seriously. Yeah, golf is written down as well because
we've played a lot
of golf this year, but it has been therapeutic.
Yeah.
Like, it's been so good to get out and, I reckon I've thrown a club on every single round, but it's good. It's a good way to get the anger out. And it's just a good way to walk around and be in nature, recover, not take things too seriously, I hope.
Yeah. Oh, I've never had more fun this year.
Yeah.
As in, from a business point of view. Like, it's been so good. Let's face it. There's so much humour in life that we just squash out of ourselves from being far too serious. Like,
yes.
Life is a pisser. When you actually think of it, it is so damn funny all the time. Like, with these two-legged things that are cruising around on a rock that's just floating around in space, and we're all trying to figure out why we're here. Yeah. That is so funny to me. Like, it's a pisser. But we squeeze it. We put so much seriousness into what we do. And so giving yourself permission, I think it's actually a process you have to go on, is giving yourself permission to have fun. You got two ends of the spectrum, and you get to choose where you want to play. One end of the spectrum is consistency and certainty. And that's setting goals, and that's being rigorous, and that's being disciplined, and that's being just in the doing things. And I've always lived my life like that. I suppose set big goals and then always work towards them. And I would have never given myself time. Like, no, Monday to Friday I'm working. Even weekends I'd be working. Nights, remember how many times I'd be sitting on my laptop on a night? I used to be every night sitting on a laptop doing work, and it got me the result. But what that meant is I didn't have the other end of the spectrum, and that's creativity and chaos. And you can't get creativity and chaos, and they go hand in hand in a really beautiful way, if you've got too much certainty and structure in your life. So I've swung the pendulum back the other way, and arguably have never been more creative. And I found out that actually fulfills me more now that I'm starting to learn who I am. I actually like that more than just always ticking off things, And so that's been super helpful for me. It took a big adjustment because I had to unlearn a lot of stuff, like looking at my profit and loss, looking at cash flow, and we still had a great year. Like, we hit a record month.
Yep.
Was it July?
I think it was July. You said it's the best month you've ever had in business.
Significantly the best month we've ever had. But that's it was a big spike and then down and stuff like that, just full transparency. But over the year, we've gone backwards from the previous year. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. Literally would not trade it for the world. It's been the best. And I think that's probably I don't know, something to be aware of is what side of the spectrum do you want to be on? Do you want to do a year of creativity and chaos, or do you want to do a year of certainty and consistency? It's no right and wrong. Just pick one and back it, Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
And you'll get something different. And obviously long term you might middle out somewhere.
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed going the other end. I've enjoyed just going, whatever. I'm not going to pull out the laptop tonight. That can wait until tomorrow. The world will not stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just can't wait for next year. I reckon 2020 is going to be so fun and entertaining, and the content we're going to produce for our listeners and what we're going to be able to give to the world as a result it's going to be the best year ever. It really will.